Let's see how this does. Good morning, YouTube. This is the first time I've ever uploaded anything to YouTube. My name's Michael, and my channel I've named Prepper Journey. Reason being is I am a prepper, and I've been in the business of preparing along with my family for a number of years. I've been on this earth for over half a century now, and I think I have learned a few things noteworthy enough to share with all of you. I have my dog with me, my German Shepherd. Her name is Kiki. She's a great dog, a good companion, and I just needed to get her out for a little while because as a dog, you just don't want to be stuffed up and neglected. You want to be out doing things, and she likes to get out and do things. My wife and I, we've been preparing pretty much since before Y2K, with the physical, spiritual, and mental aspects of prepping. And that was kind of what I wanted to focus on, just to start things off, was my thoughts on, and my opinions on preparation in general and the different aspects. There are three distinct aspects of preparation and prepping. One is the physical, two is the spiritual, and three is the mental and emotional part of it. And I think that they all intertwine. They all overlap with each other, and to be able to stay strong in all three, I think, is the goal. To be just as strong mentally and emotionally as a prepper as being physically ready for it. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. And having a good plan. And having looked at this kind of, I don't want to say it's an outside body experience, because it's really not. It's just that I've been absorbing the whole notion of prepping and gaming it for so long, different scenarios and so forth. I feel like no matter what comes my way, I've seen it. I've already gone through it in my mind. I've already absorbed it, all the different aspects. I've already asked myself again and again and again, what would I do if this happens, or how am I going to react? So when something comes my way, it's going to be odd if it's a complete and utter surprise, and I've never given any thought to it whatsoever. Because I've made it a point for decades now to try to look at all the different aspects of prepping. And my wife and I, talking with each other, have walked each other through so many different scenarios, so many what ifs, that we've gotten fairly comfortable. We're not worried. We're not in fear in any way, shape, or form. Neither do we want it to come, because we know when the crap hits the fan, and we actually are in it now, that there's going to be a period that we're going to have to go through in order to feel that normalcy that so many of us enjoy, that feeling of peace and tranquility, and just everything's right in the world, because so many things are not right in this world. I could go on and on. But so the physical part, mental part, like I said, just absorbing it over time, allowing yourself to adjust, to the potential threats that are out there, to be aware of those threats and how you're going to deal with them. And it could be in the form of a two-legged threat. It could be in the form of a natural threat. Storms, winter's coming on around here, so that's something that we have to be geared up for. We have to be in the mindset of some of the potential threats we're going to be dealing with. So the interweaving of the different aspects of preparedness. So if you're strong on your physical and you're strong in your spiritual, and I do that with prayer and scripture study and doing the things that I feel is pleasing to my Heavenly Father, and trying to share the good news of the gospel with others when I can, when the opportunity arises. I do so, and it helps me feel more spiritually ready. And yes, I believe in self-defense. I believe in the Second Amendment. I'm a patriot. I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, Fifth Amendment, religious freedom, freedom of speech. The right to hold and bear arms, and all those aspects are very, very important to me. And as a member of the United States Navy for 21 years, I gave an oath to support and defend the United States Constitution and the President of the United States, albeit whether they're friendly to the Constitution or not. I've been on both sides. I've supported both types of presidents, ones that didn't seem to care about the Constitution and what this country stands for or should stand for, and I have been through presidencies where they were really, really strong, supportive conservatives. Ronald Reagan being one of them. Been through the Clinton years, the Bushes, both Bushes, Obama. What a nightmare. Anyways, I digress. And now we're in the Trump administration, and we're faced with the possibility of President Biden and Vice President Harris. Both are known Marxists, socialists, and I do not understand how they support the United States Constitution and the Founding Fathers and what this country is and should be all about, and the direction it should be going. I don't believe that their best, the best interests of the country are in their minds. I think it's their party, it's all political, that are in their best interests. So hopefully Trump can stick it out, but I don't want to make this a political rant, because like I said, this channel is I want it to be about this journey that my wife and I and my family has been on, that I think is important for others to take a look at. And I'm not perfect. I don't espouse to know all there is to know about prepping. I've read a lot of subject matter. I've listened to a lot of subject matter. I have many folks that I stay in contact with and in contact with that are also very experienced and knowledgeable in the subject. In the military, I've picked up quite a bit too. Believe it or not, there are people that are like-minded in the military as well. So my wife and I, we moved to this area of Idaho through prayer. I think that's how we really ended up here. Just trying to find a place that I can call. This is where I stand, my final stand, where I plan to retire, where I put my roots. Growing up in Southern California, I had an affinity towards the mountains and nature. And so when we had an opportunity to leave the Southeast, I decided I wanted to head west towards the Rocky Mountains. We've spent 6 years in Wyoming, which is quite an experience. If you've never been to Wyoming, it's windy and cold. And in the high plains, we were living at about 7,200 feet. And we had huge mountains all around us. It was quite beautiful. Lots of pronghorn, deer, elk, bear, mountain lion. I mean, you name it. It was all over the place. And big sky country. Ooh, man, I tell you, at night, some of the nights were so beautiful, awesome. The stars would just reach out and touch you. But you really can't grow very much unless you have a nice greenhouse and you've got the money to put into it. It's hard to grow things in Wyoming. So we decided to go just a little bit further westward. And here we are in the Banana Belt area of Idaho. And I really feel like this is the place. This is where my wife and I, we want to put down roots, find a little piece of property. We were renting for a little bit, and that kind of got pulled out from underneath of our feet. The landlord, who we were renting from, decided they wanted to come back home. I mean, with all this COVID-19 crap and the economy looking like it's not doing well and everything, they wanted to bring their family back to the homestead. So that meant we had to get out of the way, and not very good timing. And this was a few months ago when we got hit with that news. So we had to shift gears and decide on what we were going to do at that point. So with the mass exodus going on from the cities right now, there's not a lot of opportunities for land or even rentals to be able to get into. So we decided to go ahead and gather what money we could through family support and any means possible of acquiring a nice Class A motorhome. It was a used one, but everything was functional and it's good. It doesn't have any modern amenities of most motorhomes with pop outs, slide outs, whatever you want to call it. So it's a normal P30 chassis. It's relatively tight, but very functional. And this is going to be our first winter living in an RV. Done a lot of studying on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. To all those who spend a lot of time in putting all that information out for RVers and those new to RVing. It's been very, very helpful in gearing up for the winter and getting things set up. And some of the problems that we've run into so far. Nothing major. All in all, I think it's a decent lifestyle. Again, if you're used to living in a sticks and bricks home, there's some sacrifices that go along with it, and a lot of that's just space. Where you got a lot of elbow room in a regular house, you don't in an RV. So you got to learn how to get around each other, how to make use of what little space you have. Doing things like purchasing an extra towable trailer to store some of your things in that you can't put into your RV with you, insulating for the winter and all that kind of good stuff. So we've been able to do that, and the good thing about it is we're mobile. If things go sideways, if this election process doesn't wind out very well and we end up, Lord forbid, in a civil war kind of situation, that's the worst case scenario that I can think of, then hopefully we will, if we don't end up in that bad of a situation, then we will be able to find our property, which we are hoping to find in the next spring or summer, and get set up on property and start building. Until then, we have wheels. We can just stick the key in the ignition, pull up anchor, and get the heck out of Dodge if we have to. So there's some good aspects to being in an RV and having the ability to go mobile within an hour's notice. So yeah, that's good. And you really, you don't, I can't see doing a big family thing in an RV situation because it would just be too cramped. But if it's just you and your wife, we have an extra motorhome for my boys, so we're not trampling under each other's feet all the time. And so they come over, they use the facilities, they enjoy meals that we cook and so forth. And that's all good. And they help keep security watch over our RV, and we help keep security watch over their RV. And that helps with the security arrangement. All of us are capable shooters. My wife and I, we carry generally. We have sufficient for our needs. We have diversified into 3 different storage units in the area where we have a lot of our food storage set up and other supplies. You can call them remote caches if you want, but didn't have to bury them. That is a whole different video that I may touch on at some point too, is talking about caching. But that's basically what I wanted to do, was just introduce myself and let you know that I'm going to be putting out more videos that are being specific to certain aspects of physical prepping, and maybe a little bit on the mental and emotional side too. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and maybe edit this thing down, see if I can get it cleaned up, and learn a little bit more about the ins and outs of the audio and video quality, trying to get things as good as possible. And until then, signing out.